acquired by Impunity themselves. So I'm really looking forward to this particular matchup between Impunity against Popeyes and seeing what Popeyes can actually bring to the table.
Yeah, both of these teams defeating being the underdogs and defeating the powerhouses to get through to the finals today. So they'll both be on a bit of a high, be very excited to be playing this game, and they'll both think that they've got what it takes to win. And I think they'll both be quietly confident that because they each beat the one of the top teams, they'll think that they can take home these two games.
Yep, honestly, just looking at previous drafts coming out from both teams, honestly, the draft coming out from Impunity is just so much better in a lot of other games. And just Popeyes alone, they have this very standard band, just prioritizing on the Baron and the Taka for both games. And for the side of Impunity, they just are really comfortable with a lot of the other heroes, although one of the more common bans would be Vox and that of Baron. So, honestly, I'm really excited going to this draft. Impunity, like I said earlier on, and I've been repeating myself, they are a really confident team. And then Popeyes is one of those teams that actually beat Elite 8 beat Elite 8 in VG8 Live Championships in the spring season. The first two rounds up against Elite 8, although Elite 8 actually took the win 3-2. So honestly, I'm really looking forward to both of these teams play, and I'm sure the viewers are as well. Just going through a quick history on the side of Impunity. Impunity, they are really strong in their mechanics, and Court of War alone is a shot caller of the side of Impunity, and we actually held a short interview with the side of Impunity during Shine Festival 2017 at Twitch booth, and Court of War has always been, and their teamwork and synergy alone is just something to be respected for. Court of War, although he's a main shot caller, he do actually understand and do relate to his other players as well. So anyways, draft is ready, so do the honors, Minimizer.
Thank you for that. So without further ado, we'll be going into the draft.
So as expected from the side of Impunity, their priority ban has always been that of Baron or of Vox. And we know from Popeyes, they just dislike going up against Baron and Taka, like we've seen and witnessed from the previous draft.
Actually, we see Sky being banned first. That's something we've seen a lot from quite a lot of
teams out there. Yeah,
Catherine people just like to play Catherine, and as we saw, Sky being such a strong hero anyway, even if you don't necessarily want to play Catherine, that you just want to ban away Sky, it's not a bad ban by any stretch.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sky is a really good hero in 2.6. Not exactly very overpowered, but it's quite a balanced hero, especially if you are going to pick up that Catherine for your own team. Anyways, from Popeyes expected, they are going to be banning out this Baron as their first ban. And, honestly, for Impunity, they have a lot of options open up for them, because since Baron is actually banned out and the side of Popeyes on Aeon, they would actually go for the first pick, Vox. I'm pretty sure of that. The Catherine pickup on the side of Impunity is quite expected, especially with the Sky banned out as the first ban, or rather as the priority ban. Popeyes, Aeon on that Vox has shown quite an outstanding play as well. So I'm not surprised if Popeyes actually do opt for that Vox, but then with that Vox being picked up, then of course the side of Impunity might actually just go for the Idris just to take out that Vox. And for the
yeah, we saw the power of Idris in that last game. Elite 8 brought him out, and even though he hasn't had that much favour when he has been played against a comp where they have a backline hero that's quite squishy, trying to do as much damage as possible, Idris is really good against that. And we have Celeste ban. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe they just don't want to play against Celeste, because we generally have seen them ban Baron and Taka, and instead deciding to ban the Celeste. Maybe they want to pick up Taka. But then again, Taka's a great Celeste counter, so it's more likely they want to go something like a Batiste as a flex pick, and they're actually going to go Lyra, so they're going to save their jungler till last. Glaive not open. I'd love to see the Idris, and I think Batiste could work, but also they could do a CP Kestrel is good into this.
Yep, definitely. I do understand the Celeste pickup. I mean, Celeste has been quite strong in this particular series so far. We've witnessed from week 1 throughout to the current week. Celeste has been, for a lot of the games that Celeste has been picked up, there has been quite a lot of win rates coming out from the Celeste. So on the side of Popeyes, we actually do see a Lyra being picked up, and we saw just Lyra is such a strong hero at this point in time. Just a heal alone, it kind of out heals and out sustain that from Grace if you can actually overpower and just snowball Grace into nothingness in the early game, because of just your Imperial Sigil alone. You kind of cap it out at like 600, and as for Grace, although you cap it out at 1004, like you said, with a little bit of crystal power, but even then you still have to wait for a 1.5 channeling time and 1.5 seconds channeling time, and then you risk getting stunned out by that Catherine. So I do understand why Grace isn't picked out, and Lyra is picked out over Grace. We actually do see a Scar being picked out on the side of Impunity. What do you think?
I think that's risky. They're going to go for Idris, which is very smart. Idris is good if they pick up Taka against that Scarf. Taka's a good Scarf counter, and Idris is quite good against that Alpha. But I think Scarf is a great counter to Grumpjaw, even though we haven't seen any Grumpjaw at all. And Scarf is really good at poking out and can out-poke anyone else, because there is Celeste, Celeste and Scarf are very similar in terms of poke. And I think Scarf generally beats out Samuel, and because Celeste is banned, that means that Scarf is probably the best hero at poke that's available for this game. They should counter it with I'd like to see a Koshka trying to beat the early game. I think it really could work, and they are going to pick it up. Yeah, it's risky. It's not the safest decision. The safer decision would have been just go late game, someone like Kestrel, just see, well, you're going to poke, we're going to poke, let's see who wins. But I really like Koshka to beat the Scarf in the early game, and if that doesn't work, bully Idris in the early game, and they can snowball from there.
Yeah, but we've seen Chingy on this Koshka for the first game between Popeyes going up against Infamous, and just Chingy alone on this Koshka is just insane, as long as Chingy do not go for the Shatterglass build, because that was one of the builds that I'm highly in favor of. But problem with that build is that it takes so long before you can actually build your Shatterglass. And in fact, if Chingy actually do go for the Heavy Prism first and then go into an Aftershock afterwards, I think that's a cleverer build coming out from the side of Popeyes, especially if you're looking to snowball in the early game. Just looking at the draft coming out from the side of Impunity, we have Catherine, we have Scarf, and we have Idris. All three, or rather Scarf and Idris, both are really late scaling heroes. So the Koshka pickup is really intelligent, and just allowing Vox to farm up for the later game and hindering that of Idris to excel or go into the late game is a really smart pickup. And Koshka just now just have to be really aggressive in the early game, just going into Scarf, because Koshka does really well against Scarf in the early game, especially in the 1v1 in the jungle, as long as Koshka can dodge out all them Spitfires and whatnot, and especially with the healing and the pestering and the amount of harassing Lyra can provide in lane for that Vox against this Idris will just hinder Idris even further into going to the late game. So anyways, we are into the folds right now. So casting for this game, we have the awesome and punny pair, Asurai and Riku. Take it away.
And we will grab it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vainglory 8 Southeast Asia Championship. Actually not championship, finals for this Week 3 Split 1 matchup against Impunity and Popeyes. We didn't really expect them, but let's have a rundown of our players and teams.
Yes, sir. On the blue side, we've got Impunity, we've got Kirchhoff on the Scarf, Court d'Ivoire on the Catherine, and Deft Q on the Idris.
And of course, Popeyes, Spinach makes them stronger. It's gonna be Aeon 222 with the Vox, Teza Boy 98 on the Lyra, and Chingy as our Koshka. We're gonna be immediately going for an invade, 3-man invade, or rather just looking to contest on this trend. And Chingy immediately leaps on to the first opportunity that he gets. 3-man Chakra to connect, but still Popeyes showing their early game dominance.
Definitely. Knowing that, Koshka already received level 2, she's completed her kit enough for her to go with the aggression. So with Popeyes, I really I really like what they're doing here. Just as the analyst desk has mentioned, they're the type to, keep on snowballing, and then until Impunity is not able to recover from the game or reach late game, or reach mid to late game as they intend to do so. So Popeyes has used this early game snowball strategy from the previous matches that we have seen earlier, and it worked out pretty well. I mean, they've defeated Infamous. Infamous is the last, yesterday's winner for the championship of week number 2. So for Impunity facing Infamous, Popeyes strategy and composition of just keep poking, keep just going all in with all their damage, and with the sustain coming from the Lyra, and just fearing or respecting Chingy on the Koshka. I'm really excited to see how they're gonna adjust through Popeye's strategy.
And strategy indeed, as look, Chingy will be immediately invading 2v1 situation. This guy is looking to be fearless, as he really needs to start been creating that immediate snowball right now, as they don't want Impunity to get any traction whatsoever. But Impunity, they know about this weakness. They will at least put Quartervois on that patrol role, and he will just be rotating around with the Scarf so that they will have that 2v1 situation. But it looks like Popeye will try to go for at least a counter measure here and push them away from Chingy's jungle.
But mission accomplished for Impunity as they try to flank in the Vox, who's solo in lane, but he's going to be A-okay as Aeon222 just backs away and respect 3 members colliding. But here comes the merciless pursuit. There's the stun, but no follow-ups just yet, as Idris still going to be a little bit hesitant in terms of engages there. Again, the analyst desk has mentioned that they should really respect the damage coming from the side of Popeyes, especially if they go, coincide or clash everybody else in towards the lane.
There's not a lot of damage yet for them to work with, but if you get, consecutively hit by the skill shot of the Scarf, that's still something to be a little bit worried about. Although, looking at it, you can really see how Impunity have respect for that Chingy invade, because Scarf hasn't really, showed his face too much in the jungle.
That is true. They're going to be waiting patiently, just ramping up in terms of power. As Chingy has reached level 6, this is definitely the time to hunt for this Koshka from Popeyes. We've seen how painful Chingy is during the first few matches against Infamous. So meanwhile, here comes the engage.
It's going to be an engage. Tezaboy will get caught up, but look, the damage onto DefQ. He has to be a bit careful here as he is very low on HP. Does he have the Glimmer Strike? Actually, no. He is only level 4, so he can't actually go for that invisibility. But he does at least have the Shroud Step for that. Well, at least to be able to blink away from his opponents. But still, that yummy Catnip Frenzy is up and running for actually not yet 30 seconds, but it was already used. You can saw the damage output connecting onto DefQ a little while back, and Chingy will get connected onto the stun. There's going to be the Spitfire as well as the turret shots. Defensive Bulwark just for the defensiveness of it, so that Impunity won't go for the push. And that would have been a first blood if Chingy wasn't lucky enough to escape.
That was just too close. I mean, they've got a Catherine to easily punish the aggression coming from the Koshka whenever she dives in too deep, plus the goo, plus all the mobility skills coming from the Idris, so that they can immediately burst someone down. But good thing there's the Lyra for the save. Take note, there's still no arcane passage just yet. The Bulwark as well to deny any sort of Impunity, just keep pursuing or keeping on with the chase. So that was just too close of a call for the side of Popeyes there. I mean, we saw the damage. You gotta respect the burstiness of a Koshka during these first few minutes in the game. As it's an Idris almost dying there under turret. So here's a sneaky play.
Quartervois might actually initiate with a stun, because DefQ and Kirchhoff have their ultimates up. Quartervois still level 5 for the meantime, so no Blast Tremor just yet think a Blast Tremor would really help out mitigate this mobility from Chingy. You know, that silence, that AoE silence will be a pretty good opening, pretty good setup for the Dragon's Breath, although Ward of Wog gets poked down from a little bit quite, at least decently there by Popeyes. There's going to be the dash in, the dive in by Chingy, but he's just going to be wrapping around and looking for a better transition or a better opportunity to just leap into the fight and get a pick off. Is going to be trying to break down this turret, and it will, and Impunity will just be happy that they don't die. As Popeyes goes in aggressive, there's going to be the ultimate coming out from Chingy. Defensive maneuvers all across the board, and Chingy almost get taken down. Look at the chase from this Catherine, and look at Impunity turn around back to fight. It's going to be Chingy who actually initiated the fight to be the last man standing, and Impunity come back from that one.
Well played. They were able to burst someone down, despite they've got a little sustain themselves. But I don't think, Box has still enough damage to actually finish someone off whenever Chingy's damage is just not enough, as Chingy escapes death once again.
Still, as he is trying to escape that death. Well, no, Tezaboy will give him some heals. And Chingy looking to get back into the fight once more. No more Shimmer Strike for this Idris, and Kirchhoffs cannot capitalize. He actually did not go for his ultimate, so no Dragon Breath or Dragon Fire setup into the Blast Tremor of the Catherine.
Yeah, this is also the strength of Popeyes' composition, where they can just keep on with the chase. They've got a lot of mobility skills on their hands. They've got the Koshka, they've got the Arcane Passage to catch up. So that's why it's super key for the side of Impunity to secure their escape route, or else they might just get picked off whoever is at the last line of retreat. So that's what happened to the Idris earlier. So meanwhile, again, they can easily punish aggressive plays whenever Chingy goes in with the stun of the Catherine, and as well as whenever Lyra goes in.
Lyra is so out of position, and Tezaboy, well, he actually baits it out. Good connection with the Arcane Passage, and there's the ultimate from Chingy. So even though it looked to be a dire situation from Popeyes, Tezaboy able to get back on track, although Impunity was able to net themselves that one turret. Aeon is hot on the heels here of Kirchhoffs, but they gotta be careful. Connection onto the root here onto Chingy, but Impunity will not be able to capitalize.
I actually thought the Lyra was about to die, but then I remembered, okay, the turret is still pretty healthy. Arcane Passage through it, if somebody takes the bait of greed, then that person is gonna suffer. So Idris was, Defkey was the one who managed to, land onto the Arcane Passage, or actually activated the Arcane Passage just so that they can secure the kill onto the Lyra, and then, great bait made happen there. So that was a turret actually destroyed in exchange of that. It's going to be A-okay, a kill for a turret for an objective. It's fine. 2-2 for the kill scoreboard. Gold lead slightly in favor of the side of Popeyes, and again, they can afford to make these bait plays because they have a lot of mobility on their side. They've got a lot of safety. They also have a lot of heals as well. So as the game goes, Lyra is just gonna give a ton of more heals. So for Impunity, they gotta make sure they can secure the kill, or else Lyra is just gonna keep pumping up life.
There's a little bit of a ticking time bomb. Shroud Step activated there by Idris. He went in a little bit too over aggressive, but now the one who actually was the recipient of all of that damage will be the Scarf. And well, they were way out of position. Quarter block could not have body blocked there good enough for the Scarf. Although DefQ might have something to say here, but well, he went down to the fast fury swipes of this Koshka. And well, the cat leaps, and she will be able to get her nip.
I really thought you were gonna say the cat leaps and the Scarf leaps.
No, that makes no sense.
It makes sense because Scarf is gonna cry when Koshka just leaps into Kirchhoffs. Weep as you cry.
Flips.
Oh wow.
Weeps. Okay.
Weeps. Wow, Asarai. I always get your puns. You should get mine.
Because it sounded so weird. Like it
What?
was
When
like
the cat leaps, the scarf leaps.
you said "fweeps."
No,
with
I
an
did
F.
not.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
All right,
my.
let's get back in the fight. They're gonna be looking for the gold miner here. Although Koshka, man, the cat woman is really doing all that burglar work. See, that's how you do it, son. Get schooled.
Get schooled indeed. Wow. So
Just kidding.
Chingy again with Chingy again earlier. Just from the first match that we've witnessed on today's tournament, it's just really so dangerous or crucial whenever she just leaps into a single target. Especially the most crucial target that they could get is Kirchhoff's on the scarf. As during the early phases of the game, yes, we understand Chingy is so painful, so bursty, and then you follow it up with the Vox and the Lyre just on their faces, and Vox just gonna be able to finish or down the target once they've acquired their once someone is already low. So that's the perfect formula for them, since Court d'Ivoire earlier plus the Idris death key wasn't near at all. So they gotta be careful about their escape routes, or else they're just gonna get intercepted, if you will, by Popeyes, especially how mobile their team is.
Yeah, there's just ultimate punishment coming out from Popeyes. One missed position, and they're able to find like that small crack. They're able to just rip it open and have a gaping hole of blackness.
Yes, blackness of
despair, death,
yeah,
agony of impunity.
Yeah, exactly. So for Popeyes, they're just looking for a perfect opportunity, just roaming the jungle, establishing vision, because they can definitely take advantage of, again, the rotations that Impunity has been doing for the past few minutes, because they can easily intercept with the Arcane Passage. We've seen aggressive Arcane Passages from a couple of Lyre players, but and there you have it.
Arcane Passage, indeed. There is the possible combination with the Koshka as well, but there's going to be set up with the Dragon's Breath, and he is just chugging it out, although not much capitalization from the Scarf for the meantime, and that'll be a disengage for Impunity. And Popeyes, their first non-kill or no-kill setup.
I'm pretty sure Impunity is just gonna respect and just back away from that and give all the objectives to Popeyes, as they have no ults to work with if ever they try to engage these aggressive maneuvers. So for Impunity, they just have to take that and just back away and fight another day. So the gold lead wise, it's definitely in favor of the side of Popeyes. They're definitely happy in this sort of situation. They have been getting the resources of Impunity, as they have to respect the Koshka, or else the Scarf is just definitely going to suffer from that. So with Chingy roaming around the jungle, it's definitely not safe for these three-man rotations, roaming the jungle, finding the hunt or finding the kill, as it is Popeye's jurisdiction to actually do that kind of play, not them.
Yeah, this Catherine isn't really the best protector for Kirchhoff's. Maybe a Grace? I actually can't remember if it was banned out. No, it wasn't. I mean, I'm just saying maybe, but Catherine is almost always a good first pick, safe, good initiations as well. But in this situation, you would really at least want to have that possible Holy Nova, because it's always been Popeyes diving in and clumping up somewhat, because they have to go through that Arcane Passage. It would be actually a nice reprieve if ever they go in aggressive, and then you have that Grace. But for now, Impunity have to work with this Catherine. I don't know if he's going to be building up into, or does he have an Echo? Yes, he does. So double Blast Tremor is up and running for Impunity right now. This could be the turnaround that they will be looking for, as both teams have been eyeing this Baron, or rather this Kraken, for a few seconds.
Yes, sir. As Tezaboy, again, you can definitely detect the mindset of Popeyes, because you can see that, the Lyra is just charging into the front line, will definitely just lead her teammates, or his teammates, Tezaboy rather, into an Arcane Passage of Death, because that's a counter to low mobility, heroes that are quite powerful or glass cannon heroes, especially like a Scarf, it's easily countered by bursty or dive strategies, especially that you can, even though they don't have the tools like Vox and the rest of don't have like a dash of some sort except for Chingy. Actually, Vox has, but for you to close that gap for the safety of the back line, it's just really detrimental in their strategy to make this work. So again, Popeyes just lurking around the corner, finding that opportunity because Impunity obviously respects the space. They're not showing up at all. They're not gonna plan to actually engage just yet because they know that they're not in the best position just yet.
Yeah, but this is where it kind of gets blurry in terms of position, or rather in team fights, because Impunity, what they want is to fight in these areas wherein they can maximize the damage from the Dragon's Breath of the Scarf, and at the same time, the Scarf kind of becomes an easy target because there's so many walls that he has to put his back on, and that in a way kind of makes him very vulnerable to the push here of Popeyes. But Popeyes will at least relegate that, or rather deny them that point and go in for the lane. Aggressive, starts with the Blast Tremor, and there goes a second one as well. Activates a 3-man silence, and look at Chingy taking quite a bit of damage. Defq is going to be going in aggressive. He does at least have that Shimmer Strike, and he will almost activate it. There it is, latches onto the target. Huge damage output coming in from the Dragon's Breath of the Scarf, but still nobody has been taken down just yet. They're doing too much dive here from Popeyes, and Impunity, perfect disengage, perfect baiting, and that will net themselves 2 kills and a possible Kraken to boot. 3 kills could be that point as the Catherine sets it up with a final merciless pursuit.
Man, Impunity even aiming for the Kraken after that. I feel like Popeyes could have backed away from that since they're not exactly in a healthy state to actually be fighting in that sort of condition, knowing the fact that they cannot reach Kirchhoff's anymore, and it was the perfect angle to throw in the Dragon Breath. So it just hit everybody else, and after that, it was just too late to even try to dive into the Scarf, and they finished everybody else, even got a Kraken out of that. So definitely you can see Popeyes slowly losing their prime, slowly losing their composition strength into an early game snowball. If you know that Impunity is slowly winning the fights, and this is it, Kraken knocking on their door.
And just, if you think about it though, hold that thought, it's gonna be Popeyes trying to defend this second turret. And I have a little bit of update for you guys, but later after Impunity will try to finish off this game straight off to the bat. That was too much of a heavy dive from Chingy, and this kitty needs to go back to her litter as well. Impunity have found their dominance and are just barking in front of the base of Popeyes. Can they really get back into this fight? But now there's a Dragon's Breath being set up by Kirchhoff, and look at that. He is just frying them up out of the frying pan and into the fire. That's what Impunity is doing right now to Popeyes. Kraken is still alive, and he is beating down hard onto the last turret. The vein has been exposed, and that might be it. But wait, hold that thought. It is going to be Popeyes able to get back, rather to stave them off as they go in, heal from the HQ, then dive back out. Aeon 222 will be chasing with the Vox, goes in with the Sonic Zoom, but Merciless Pursuit is actually also a pretty good tool to get away from the fight, as it gives you that extra movement speed to, well, just get out of harm's way.
Yeah, the reason why Koshka isn't as aggressive as before, where you can just easily dive into the Scarf, is just that there's so many skills or kits that can deny that sort of aggressive play. I mean, as a Koshka, you definitely want to enter the fight, and after that just exit casually and then just wait for cooldowns and then start over again and get in the stacks. But the problem is with that Echo Win, with the double blast tremor, it's just it just puts Koshka in a very awkward position where am I going to enter the fight? No, or else I might die. I might not be able to escape, and it's going to be an instant 2v3. So with that said, Impunity just are very patient, even though the Scarf fell once or twice during the early phase of the game. Impunity understood that it is normal, that it is inevitable. But all they have to do is just wait it out, not allow Popeyes to snowball, not allow them to get more objectives. It rewarded them. They got the Kraken, and again, all they did was wait for the Kraken to spawn. They did not push the wave or whatsoever. It's fine. This is the time that they will play around objectives, add more pressure into the map, then eventually maybe Popeyes will, I don't know, get back from this game, or this could be Impunity's game number 1.
Well, Chingy he still has the damage, but the thing is, Cordova is on that point of this game wherein he can actually just be that disabler that Impunity needs to be able to, like you said, get the setups. And Def Q's damage output is nothing to be laughed on about because his chakrams hurt a lot, as well as, of course, his auto attacks. You gotta be careful in that one. And even if Scarf does get, or Karchov does get caught, is that really enough time for them to be able to take out the other pretty scary members of Impunity? There's going to be a shift up with the Arcane Passage, and here is the engagement coming from, well, Popeyes. But look at that, Kirchhoff just going in aggressive, and he just charges in, and he takes one down, looks for the second. That's Chingy with very low amounts of HP, and Kirchhoff is just manhandling Popeyes for the moment. The slow onto Aeon 222, and here comes Quartevoix, charges it in with the Merciless Pursuit. Does go for the Stormguard as well, baiting out a couple of shots from Aeon. And here comes the second Merciless Pursuit. He wants him so bad.
So bad as the Vayne is exposed as well. So just running towards the base.
Chase is on.
Yes. Let us see, though, how Aeon is going to fight them off. 2v1. Definitely has 20 seconds on the clock. We'll see if it's going to be enough. They're just ignoring.
Last Tremor connecting. It's going to be the Scarf, though. This is going to be very close, but still, no, that Vayne's going to explode. And, yeah, game 1 into the hands of Impunity.
Man, that was well played by Impunity. Just countering, not allowing too much kills or too much control for the side of Popeyes. They definitely saw the first match against Infamous, and they learned from that. So they definitely just had to have a composition that would just beat their linear style or strategy. So well played by Impunity. Let's see what else Popeyes have to say about when we reach game number 2.
All right, so for our third place match, it was Infamous who won 2-1 against Elite 8. And, you know, to shred this game down a bit further, let's give it to our analysts, Mini Mitre and Luxury. Take it away, guys.
Thank you for that. Popeyes did well played in the early game. Koshka got some nice kills. She got ever so slightly ahead. But the main problem with that one was that it got to late game, and you're against the Scarf, and you're against an Idris, and you're not going to win late game against Scarf and Idris, especially with someone like Koshka.
Well, yeah, definitely. That was really good play coming out from the side of Popeyes in the early game, and expected from Chingy. Although Chingy is sitting at 1, 3, and 5, but Chingy was really aggressive in the early game, just allowing Aeon to just pick up on all the kills, just pushing Aeon from the early game into the late game, just when the mid game just hit. So, but anyways, like you said like you said just now, Chingy just couldn't put out that damage that was required of him in the late game when up against Kirchhoff's and that of Def Q. And you know, honestly, just had they like tried to end this game sub 20 minutes, they might actually have it. But then what happened then was that they're not as objective orientated as that of Impunity. They were so hard on. trying to get kills and just trying to take like the side of Impunity down one by one, and they kind of forget the long-term destination that they really need to go to is that to pop that vein crystal of theirs. I mean, just looking at Team Call coming up from the side of Impunity, during the late game, Quatervor was actually sitting at close to 40 stacks, and that is 80 additional armor and shield for Catherine. And just looking at the side of Aeon and rather the side of Popeyes, they just lack the damage to even take Catherine down. Granted, they might just take out Death Q because that is a main priority target after all. But even then, there is like Kerchows at the back just spewing fires and Spitfires and just goop and then just burning and just taking the side of Popeyes down. But anyways, it is good game. It is well played from both teams because the side of Popeyes knew their strength and played to their strength, but then their strength wasn't enough when it comes to late game when the strength do not equate to damage.
Yeah, it was definitely just Idris counters Vox, I think, so hard, and they got to the point where Idris got enough items to do it, and it was well executed from Impunity. But without further ado, the draft is ready, so we are going to go into the draft.
We are into the draft right now, and expected from the side of Popeyes, their first ban would definitely or most probably be that of Baron, because we haven't seen Baron play at all in this today at all, because it's either the team banned out the Baron or it isn't picked at all. It's just left alone. A lot of teams here just do not want to play against it or just do not want to pick it up at all, because Baron goes down to a lot of the micro skills required of any hero, because firstly it's your positioning, and if you are placed wrongly, if you're in the wrong position at the wrong timing, then you're easily bursted down, because the general consensus for building Baron is that you do not go for any form of defense at all. So I'm not surprised if Popeyes would actually go for the first Baron banned out, and then as usual pick out Vox as a response to that ban. As for Impunity,
Firstly, they're going to ban away the Catherine, so they saw Catherine in the last game being extremely helpful to landing those mercenary pursuits, and with the Echo, you basically you're going to guarantee a silence if Catherine's anywhere near you, because she just does the one Echo to bait out the Crucible. And unless you have another Crucible, you're going to get silenced. At least the captain will be silenced. And generally, she gets the carries as well, because they want to block Atlas Pauldrons and stuns as opposed to just blocking the silence. Baron banned away, yeah, you don't. Again, I'm very unlikely to see Baron at all, because he's so strong. Even though there are counters, it's so hard to play the counters correctly, and it's so much easier to play a Baron well, that you're just putting yourself at an unnecessary disadvantage. I think they'll probably pick up Lyra, but as you said, they like to pick up Vox first, because they're worried it'll be banned away from them or it'll be picked up against them. So that would also make a lot of sense.
Yep, definitely. I mean, we do actually see a Vox being picked up on the side of Popeyes, which has been like quite the pattern we've seen so far when Popeyes ban whatever they need to ban, especially that of Baron, and then they actually just do pick up that Vox as a priority pick for the side of Popeyes. I think it's really just down to the side that, Popeyes do not have, or rather Aeon 222 do not have that fast hero pool needed, because apparently, and it's quite apparent actually, that Idris in the late game just counters Vox to the floor, and yet Idris is not prioritized over that of Vox, but Vox is always and constantly first pick on the side of Popeyes.
Yeah, and Infamous agree with me that Idris is a great counter to Vox, so they pick it up now to make sure it's not banned away. I've got a feeling that Popeyes' plan there was pick the Vox, they're not going to first pick Idris, we'll ban it away, second ban, we'll be fine. And then of course they do first pick it, because you're going to pick your carry, okay, I'll pick mine to counter you. And Lyra should be banned, they're actually going to ban away Samuel. Samuel's so good at kiting away from Idris. He's probably the best hero at kite in the game, and so they ban that away because Idris has a hard time getting on top of Samuel. Yep. And yeah, I think they might try and pick up Lyra with the Idris now instead of banning it away.
Well, yeah, definitely. But then one of the bans I was expecting from the side of Impunity is actually that of Koshka. I mean, just looking at previous game KDA, Koshka did not have the best KDA available to a Koshka as compared to when Chingy first played Koshka today. The problem was that Koshka allowed and set up so many chances for Aeon Vox, Aeon on this Vox to actually pick up so many kills. So banning out Castro, then you give Lyra over to the side of Impunity. Quattuor on this Lyra is just really, really scary. I mean, we saw how Catherine Ross played from Quattuor in the previous matchup, and the amount of utility that Catherine brought to the game was just insane. Much less if Quattuor is going to be placed on this Lyra itself.
Yeah, definitely. He knows how to build the Lyra to get as much heal as possible, because you just got to build health, and it's all about getting those.
Okay, yeah.
Quickly enough so that your heal does the massive bacteria.
So anyways, like said, draft restarted, but then on the side of Impunity, there's an Idris and a Lara pickup. So in response to that, I actually hope to see a Glaive just for the early game potential, the gank potential, and also Chingy played an excellent Glaive in the previous game. So we actually do see a Grace in response to that Lara, and that makes quite a lot of sense actually, because I mean, although Grace's healing isn't as substantial as that of Lyra, but in the later game, when you just build a little crystal power, like you said, it can go all the way up to 1.4. And with the Catherine banned out, with one of the biggest Grace's counter on the foes, and that is Catherine being banned out, then I'm not surprised Grace is being picked out, and in response to the Lyra, another healing hero like Lyra.
I'd like to see Attacker picked up here to counter that guy, but they're gonna go for Ozo. We haven't seen Ozo in so long. He's actually so good in the current meta because of all the healers everyone picks up. He gets 33% extra healing from all sources except from natural health regeneration, and he's just so good with Lyra, because Lyra does 500 burst heal. That goes up to 700 on Ozo, and he's really good into Scarf. There's only one stun, so no one's going to stop Ozo from out of his acro bounce. But I would like to announce to anyone that is watching on Facebook, we're actually going to be ending the stream on Facebook, so you need to go over to mobcrush.com/Tesseract. I think that's the link. I'm not sure, and so that Facebook stream will be ending.
Yep. Basically, the link to the Mob Crush stream would be mobcrush.com/ I think it's /Tesseract esports. So head on to Mob Crush and continue supporting your favorite teams. Continue supporting, giving us support to Popeyes and Impunity. Just on Mob Crush. I mean, we will be continuing stream there because the Facebook stream has to end at this point in time. But anyways, as we are jumping into the foes, they are just going through the hero pickups at this point in time. Like you said, Ozo is a really strong pickup. Ozo is a really strong pickup, especially in the current meta. So So yeah. So sorry. So I was just kicked out of hero lobby. So I was starting to panic a little, so I thought it was just me, but if everyone is getting kicked out, then it's fine. But anyways, we are restarting the blind picks. We are going into the game 2 between Popeyes and Impunity. And like you said, Ozo will be a hard catch for the side of Popeyes, because Ozo has the ability to actually jump onto Aeon and Chingy. Although, honestly, and with the amount of sustain coming up from Ozo alone, without that of Lyra, is already insane. And, almost as if Poison Shift is a mate for Ozo. So, I'm really looking forward to how Ozo plays out in this game. And of course, how DefQ on this Idris will be able to bring back like that previous game. But walking through us this game, we will have the awesome, most gorgeous casters, Asurai and Riku. Take it away.
Yes, finally. He calls me gorgeous. Thank you, Luxuria. So here we are, guys. Possible last game of the day. And again, if you haven't checked, or rather haven't heard the announcement, we will be shifting our stream for the Southeast Asia Vainglory 8 Week 3 Split 1 tournament to our Mob Crush website. Introduce them, Riku, while I actually try to find the website.
Yes, sirree. Popeyes at the blue side. We got Chingy in the Scarf, Tezaboy on the Grays, and Aeon 222 on the Vox.
Yeah, and for our red team, It is going to be Impunity. We have Quartervoir with the Lyra, DefQ on the Idris, and last but not least, Kirchhoff's playing as the Ozo. So guys, again, if you are watching right now, please tune in or transfer to our other stream link, which is mobcrush.com/Tesseract Esports. And that's where we are going to be continuing our, again, like I said, possible last game, game 2 of this best of 3 series for the finals in our week 3 week 3 championship.
Yes, sirree. And we've noticed how the team composition of Impunity is something of a very persistent, sustained, long team fight. They can keep going and going with their own sustain, plus with the Lyra, and they've got a very good close gap skill whenever they try to become aggressive. We've seen it time and time again from Quarterva or Lyra players in this tournament, where they do an aggressive arcane passage plus bulwark, and everybody just goes in and in your face, or just focus on a single target and then move on to the next once that person falls down. So level 2, everybody's lurking here in the jungle and just rotating it smartly, as you know, this could be the last game if Impunity takes this away from Popeyes.
And strangely enough, I mean, I haven't seen Ozo ever yet, but that 3-ring circus, I think, added with the poison shiv, I think it's gonna be the combo here that's gonna be able to bring down the grace
That is
of
true.
Heza Boys to counter out the heals. And Popeyes Aeon. Woo!
Ouch.
Good damage from the chakra.
Definitely. They've got a lot of early damage from the side of Impunity, plus persistent damage, sustained damage, after a while allowing them to keep going as they get onto the chase, as there's not a lot of peel on the side of Popeye. So if they go dive, if Impunity dies, but look at that, Scarf is the first casualty of this game.
He actually dives into his own goop as well. Talk about tragedy. Like, you're the one who uses a skill and you die inside your own skill. I mean, yeah, of course, it doesn't deal any damage to you, but it just looks kind
Sad.
of
Looks sad.
Exactly.
So this is Impunity's strength right now. They can be really aggressive, as again we do know that Vox has a mobility skill, but then for the composition of Popeyes.
Ooh, wait, just for a minute, and the minute is over. Yes.
The minute is over. I mean, Impunity is the type of composition that can keep going and going, just be persistent, be annoying, and just be in the faces of the carries of the side of Popeyes. Because I believe there is a ton of damage reduction, there is a ton of heal coming from the Grays, but sadly, in terms of CC wise, like AoE control, perhaps, if you will, reliable hard CC, there's nothing really that can stop how persistent both DefQ and Kirchhoff is going to be, especially once they reach their level 6 spikes. So for me, it's Impunity just being persistent whenever they find these openings of aggression, and then it's just Popeyes trying to reposition and maybe wait for a mistake whenever they just dive in.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that's one of the strengths of a Grace is you can catch multiple people off guard with your Holy Nova, and then if something goes a bit too awry, a bit too iffy, you will have that Divine Intervention just for the safety of it. Although Aeon 222 will get engaged upon, and just a little bit of acro bounce coming out from the Ozo, hopping onto the heads. I mean, come on, you're an acrobat. You're a circus monkey.
You're a circus monkey.
Circus ape. Circus.
Yeah, definitely a scary.
Simian. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you gotta have that bouncy feet. So just a little bit of tussle in the mid lane, or rather in the lane, with Impunity and Popeye.
Yes, sir. As they have a decent amount of wave clear on their side. yeah, it's pretty decent. But I gotta hand it. The better wave clear is definitely on the side of Chingy and Aeon, especially with those ranged carries. Meanwhile, it's just them again waiting for an opening for Impunity as they just keep ramping up these experience and gold. Because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a bit hard to burst someone down, as you saw when Ozo actually entered the fight, tried his damage a little bit on towards the Grace. It's definitely not enough just yet. So they gotta be patient with this, and if they want to burst someone down, it's definitely either the Scarf or the Box. So au revoir, getting a little bit of poke.
I'm kind of interested to see how this interaction will fare out once Ozo has his ultimate, the Bangarang, to be able to just tumble into a target, stun him enough so that Death Q can actually go in for the kill or go in for an easy kill, so to speak. But that is kind of ways down the line if they have enough burst damage to work with.
Yes, sir. They do have the sustain from the Lyra to deal with the pull coming from Chingy and Aeon 222. So if ever they're in a pinch, they can just easily rely on Court of Raw for either the escape or the sustain that they need to keep rotating and keep being in the field to gather more experience and objectives around the jungle side. So Scarf definitely doesn't want to roam alone again, like what happened earlier, trying to make the steal. Good body blocking from Impunity, not giving the payout to Popeyes.
They're looking to push onto this turret, but there's an aggressive use on that arcane passage. And here comes Death Q. Doesn't use the Shimmer Strike just yet, so he has the ultimate for the safety as well. Although, look at that monkey get a little bit flambéed. You can see the hair is just being turned into crispy follicles by the Scarf. And
Yes,
well, they try to defend. Court of Wand does have the heals, so they still gotta be a bit careful if they choose to die. But look at that turret just go super low. Here comes Death Q from the sidelines. There's gonna be an immediate heal onto the Grace. Divine Intervention is still actually up, and my goodness, Popeye can just keep on healing for days. Court of Wand to the sidelines. Gotta be a bit careful, but he will be able to drop down quite a bit of sustain for his teammates. They go for the 1-for-1 trade, and that's gonna be Ozo to be shut down. Death Q from the sidelines. They could actually go in onto a 1v1, maybe 3-for-3 trade, but no, Chingy has too much HP, or rather HP, and that'll be a 2-for-3 with the turret being taken by Popeyes.
That was just a good setup for Scarf. That was the perfect opportunity for Chingy with the Dragon's Breath. It's just painful. And again, this is Popeye's strength, where at least they're a little bit, they're more balanced compared to their all 3 damage composition. Well, at least now they've balanced it a little bit and have the damage reduction, the shields, the heals to keep them alive into the fight. Tessa Boy just casually walking, bumping into Court of Raw, and yeah, that's the problem on the side of of Impunity, because it's I mean, they are the type to just be in your face, but then Popeyes just keep repositioning, so they just keep chasing without any sort of reward whatsoever. We already saw the aggressive play from the Lyra, where it was an arcane passage to a bulwark, but they weren't able to burst down a target enough soon. And then Teza Boy would just heal that back up with all the protections, with all the damage redux, plus the Divine Intervention. So Impunity changes target, decides to go for the objective.
Just give me a moment here, as it looks like there's gonna be a push by, I believe that's gonna be Impunity onto Popeyes, although the popping of the Divine Intervention keeps them alive for the meantime. The Scarf blows out the fires, and after the dust has been cleared out, 2 kills onto Impunity.
Exactly. Vox and Scarf, let's just say, we've heard from the analyst devs time and time again how, they're going to be really scary during the later phases of the game. Vox and the Scarf. But will you look at that? They've stolen a jungle camp away from Court. Oh, no, actually, hold a thought. No, she managed to secure the camp for herself. But at this point of the game, especially, you've got 2 melee hero heroes on your side, it's just gonna be really problematic if Popeyes just keeps kiting and microwing their way out of the danger that Idris and Ozo provides from the side of Impunity. So with Grace as their front line, as their only peeler, I think it's enough, especially that they're having a bit of a trouble just securing them, as
they're lacking damage.
Yeah, they're lacking damage. Also, I don't think they are capable of doing damage if they can't really stick to the targets consistently.
Yeah.
Plus, they don't have a reliable CC that can hold them off or finish one down if ever they manage to catch someone out of position. So it's primarily Impunity just have to work with a small
Window
time
opening,
frame.
yeah.
Exactly, time frame whenever they catch someone off guard, or else he or she's just gonna escape.
True enough, they can't just willy-nilly go around the map and not look for economy because they have to stack up money here. There is at least a 2,000 gold lead by Popeyes, so they're in a comfortable spot. Gold miner is right there, ripe for the taking. 3 minutes before the Kraken spawns. And Impunity, they're on a little bit of a time frame here. Like you said, it's not a lot of window opportunity, and at the same time, once that big objective comes out, Popeye can go for it and maybe force out Impunity into an unfavorable matchup because they have to contest for that Kraken. And Quart of War here might get caught off guard. But no! Wait, hold that thought. DefQ goes in for the backline. They spawn at the box. They're going to be going aggressive here and the dive all day long. Dive Schmeib. And that's going to be, well, Impunity to get the one shutdown. Although the Scarf is still it's rather healthy. And he will get the 1-for-1 trade. They're still going aggressive onto the Grace. And this Ozo almost able to get the shutdown, but the damage from the Scarf was enough to take him down to the grave, even though he had so much sustain to work with. The charging from the grave, she's looking for a Holy Nova, but Quart of War just has that mobility.
Definitely. Wow, that was a really nice team fight from the side of Popeyes here. I mean, they did manage to eliminate the box, but the Scarf again was the only one left. So they're gonna be contesting the gold miner. Tessa Boy is in danger.
And well, they didn't get the gold miner, but they mined kills here by Impunity. So they're slowly getting these slight openings, and they're capitalizing pretty well on them.
Yeah, I think it was a bit too greedy to aim for more objectives. Impunity just can easily punish that, as the death timers are pretty much short during this 13 or 14-minute mark. And as the game progresses, one thing I noticed after these team fights is that, yes, they do focus on the box. It takes them a while, as DefQ actually just storms the Chingy.
Man, he just goes balls deep into his opponent and will get punished for that one. I mean, that might have been a cheeky setup. Arcane Passage by the Lyra, giving a huge gap close for DefQ, but you gotta remember, there is that point wherein, Chingy is with his comrades.
Exactly. That was just, I'm not a questionable play, but here comes the aggression, not stopping yet from the side of Popeyes, as Impunity just decides to defend as their fellow member Idris. DefQ responds with quite a questionable play, as Impunity's composition is the type that is all in, but has no means of escape whatsoever, unless you go to the same side, go back to the Arcane Passage where you came from. But then that's so easy for Popeyes to just chase you down and follow through. So with Aeon and Chingy as well, just ramping up in damage, ramping up in kills, I fear that perhaps Impunity, despite with the sustained kit that they have as in the draft that they build, it might not be enough, as they need something a little more bursty, because they have a lot of damage reduction. They've got a lot of saves. The Divine Intervention will just immediately kick in if they're not able to burst someone down. So it's something that Impunity will probably face in the next team fights that they encounter.
there is a tension bow up already for Def Q, so he does have that damage, but I mean, he goes in too aggressive. He should take into account that the Grace is there for the Divine Intervention, as well as that I forgot what you call it, the first skill, Retribution? I know, Benediction, yeah. So still, they have to be wary of how much protection the Grace can still give, and DefQ gotta calculate onto that side. He goes in with the Shroud Step, and goes aggressive. The Grace into the backline. Has to be very careful here for the meantime, and DefQ throws out a good chakram, hits in 3 members, but still, it's Impunity playing a little bit footsie with their opponents, trying to gauge if ever Popeyes is not in that power point anymore, and they start to go in for the Kraken as the Grace backs onto base.
I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get this Kraken. Oh, they are, as it is just getting chipped down so fast as DefQ just takes the Kraken with no response whatsoever. Grace just arrives. We'll see if they're going to do a counterattack as they hesitate back and forth, whether if they're going to engage or not. Kraken slowly going to the lane rather, as they opt for a siege instead.
Man, Grace back to base. That's a little bit of disgrace, although not really the correct communication from Popeyes. They allowed basically a free Kraken. So it's going to be charging in onto the turret. It's going to be the offense as that Kraken will go in. The damage from DefQ, and he obliterates his opponent. That's going to be the one shutdown onto the Scarf. The backline damage dealer has been silenced for the meantime. Good amount of heal back onto this. Actually back onto the Ozo. I thought it was going to be DefQ chasing, but no. He actually helped the Kraken for the meantime. Breakdown turret. And if they get 2, that's going to be such a worth Kraken. And even the possibility of a push into one of these crystal turrets 5 more seconds before the Scarf responds.
Exactly, they're pretty much healthy here as Tesaboy enters the fight.
And enters the fight indeed. They spawn out DefQ, and this should be a pretty fair fight for Popeye. They shut down 2 as well, but the damage has been done. Will this Kraken get the crystal turret? It's gonna be very close. 1 more shot.
Yes, he
does.
And
he gets it, yeah. All right.
Wow. That was a good stall from Impunity, just maximizing the power of the Kraken before he actually falls down to battle. So they immediately got like 2 or a kill there plus a crystal turret. So that's just 1 left till the vein is exposed. So they might do the waiting game again, whereas they're just going to be farming up the jungle. No need to push the lane, just let them meet at the middle and just keep waiting till another Kraken spawns. Use it as to pressure Popeyes again for them to actually contest, because I feel like Popeyes underestimated the damage from the side of Impunity, assuming that perhaps they wouldn't be able to finish the Kraken in time and they will be able to do a clutch. So they had to suffer from that mistake. So Popeyes are just recovering from that. But then again, gold lead wise and kill wise is definitely on the side of Popeyes here. So with that said, Impunity just regaining their composure, and Court d'Ivoire just trying. As you can see, they've changed their micro strategy where they didn't enter using a Arcane Passage Bulwark. They reserved that for other situations. But look at DefQ waiting and sneakily.
He's on that point already wherein you said it that, you know, there's still advantage for Popeyes, but the thing is, DefQ has gone to that phase wherein an Idris can just blow someone up if they're able to surpass the Grace. And the other thing is, if the Grace cannot react in time with the intervention, it just makes it so easy. Oh, I thought there was going to be an engage.
Me too, because the Grace was a bit too far off from the rest of the carries from Popeyes. I thought that was the perfect opportunity, but then again, you know, it's a bit too risky as Impunity is just 1 game away from winning the championships as Kraken has spawned. This is patience is a virtue.
Oh, it's going to be DefQ. He's going to go for the cheeky plays. They're going to try to stop everybody from recalling, and DefQ with just things and check and he will be able to break it down. Oh man, there is only one word from this one, and that is disgustingly dirty. He breaks it, and that's gonna be a 2. Oh my goodness, Impunity. Such impure actions. But still, it's legal.
It's legal.
It's legal,
it's
but
a strategy.
oh
it's
my
well
god.
played by
GG.
Impunity. GG. I mean, waiting for the Kraken to respond, to use that as a bait for Popeyes to fear the Kraken take from Impunity, just disregarding the potential backdoor that they could do. So they were in the best spot possible for Impunity to just cancel the ports, not allowing them to get back to base, and there you have it. DefQ just backdooring that magnificently, and that is it. 2-0. Congratulations to Impunity.